You hear that? That's the sounds in the air of Akron. I'm here at Glendale Steps, right off downtown Akron, and it's amazing what you can hear when you listen to the sounds of Akron. And this episode is all about the sounds in the air around Akron, Ohio. Welcome once again to Around Akron with Blue Green. Now this episode is a special episode, as I said, all about the sounds of Akron. We're going to visit a museum. We're going to talk to some poets. We're going to talk to a place that makes these awesome devices that make guitars sound really, really cool. And we're going to talk to a guy who makes handmade string instruments. All of this and more on Around Akron with Blue Green. Now to kick this episode off, we're here in downtown Akron. We're going to make a visit over to the Akron Sound Museum and learn all about the Akron Sound. Did you know that the Akron Sound is responsible for the sounds of the 70s and 80s all across the country? We help mold that sound. Let's go see what this place is all about.
One of the ideas that I started with was this whole thing where, like, if you look at our website, we have a video playing on the very first page that you can listen to what the Akron Sound was. It was like we were supposed to be the next Motown or the next, Memphis, because this kind of music was taking over the airwaves, and people were coming to Akron all the time to basically check to see what was going on. So if you listen to any music from the '80s, you'll hear the Akron Sound. Even though they're not from Akron, still they took the type of the dance that we did, anything was from Akron. So it's interesting how we don't get any credit. That's what this museum's all about, is to bring that whole thing back to life. Because even the people in Akron didn't even know this was going on. Only about 200 or 300 of us knew it was going on. So people come in here all the time and they're like, well, what's this about? It's like, well, are you from Akron? It's like, yeah, we are. It's like, I didn't know this was going on. It's like, well, this was going on under your very nose. People have all this stuff in their attics. They have completely forgot about it. It's in their attics. It's like, get it down. We're taking it. We're starting it at Akron Sound Museum. And you're part of it, So we're going to be featuring the Akron Symphony. We're going to be featuring all the different Akron sounds, the zoo, everything else that makes the sound in Akron. So, but this is the mainstay right now, is because back in the day, the Akron Sound was actually that phrase was coined because it was the Akron Sound. It was totally different than anything else anybody was doing. And that's the whole thing, is like you could not nail down a band and say, what kind of a band are you? Are you rockabilly? Are you new wave? Are you punk? No. We are not. We're just a band. We're doing this type of music. And it's like they don't have an answer. So that's what made it so interesting, because it didn't have, but it was called the Akron Sound. But if you look at the 80s, most of the bands were coming here to Akron to see what was going on in Akron. Not realizing that Akron was so depressing because we had 5 months of winter. But they were being hosted by people who lived here in Akron, who knew all the cool places to go. So the 80s were very cool, with people going out there and just making music about their trip to Akron. Well, monetary thing is always good. We are always taking donations and stuff. So that's the whole thing right now. We're looking for money because it's an expensive proposition to rent downtown. And we want to be downtown because we feel that that's where the Akron Sound was. It was downtown Akron, which back in the time, it was depressing as hell to go downtown Akron. There were no streetlights on downtown. It was like it was depressing as hell, but it's where the bank was, and we just flocked down there like crazy. Well, there was a crypt, there was Little Nick's, but there wasn't a lot. There was just the bank, and then there was JB's out in Kent that was also doing the Akron Sound. So Kent is the only city outside of Summit County that's being featured in our museum. that Devo was on Saturday Night Live, and that became this mainstay. I was like, oh my gosh, Devo's on Saturday Night Live and stuff. They're also featured on our website. That recording of them doing Satisfaction on Saturday Night Live and Whip It, because that's still the one-hit wonder from Devo, but they don't realize it's more than a one-hit wonder because they did all kinds of. They're still making music and stuff. Mark Mothersbaugh is still making all kinds of movies and everything else and stuff, and doing soundtracks to movies and all kinds of stuff. But if you notice any music from the 80s, it sounds like Akron Sound. It really does. Because they were here promoting what, just check out why Akron was like this and why these people were creating their own music and stuff. So the bands from the 80s are all creating their own music. So we didn't want to be nailed down to disco or anything else during the time. So we created our own thing. Disco was still going on, but we were just not interested. We wanted our own scene, so that's what we did.
Next up, we're here in beautiful downtown Akron at Cascade Plaza, where you might expect to find a wandering poet or two. On this segment, we're going to hear some wonderful Akron-based poets. Let's go see what this is all about.
Fill your belly with bees. Open the door of your bones, lure a wolf inside. Ensure the wolf is sized to completely fill your skeleton and skull. Paint a J smear of blue across your brows and pierce divinities into your skin. Meet the world, teeth first. Drink from the heavy chalice of earth to fill your rattling mud lung. Dissolve the public prayers of a mantis on your tongue. Pack your quartz valise with all your most insolent shrapnel bonnets. It helps, but is not required, to spin your hair from straws of glass, crisp vassals twirling receptors against the stratosphere. Ignore the cardinal night, chirping warnings from the grape tree. Assemble yourself an 8-armed spider trap with sliding joints snagging diamond coal from burnt tires. Engage in the strange work of cloud stomping. Distill an essence liqueur from objects that do not touch the earth. Cast your nets. Console yourself with working for the dead.
Six-year-old blue-eyed boy absentmindedly models his mandatory school uniform. Microwave food stains his dingy white polo shirt, and his collar colored with the brown crayon of not bathing. His unzipped, oversized navy blue khakis, ironed with wrinkles. His right sock a size too big. His left foot left bare to bear the carcasses of cockroaches. This 6-year-old blue-eyed boy is also in desperate need of a haircut. His ears pierced with foul words from those who are undeserving of their titles: dad, sister, brother, stepmom, and 2 of her kids. His eyes witness the depression and destruction of his family by alcohol, drugs, and bad parenting. Now, we are at the bowling alley. I do my best to be a role model, trying to teach him how to count the change from my pocket: a quarter, a dime, a nickel, and 2 pennies.
When women gather, change begins to happen. A sweet pheromone saturates the air, reminds us of commonality, releases us from formality as we're drawn nearer to each other. We look beyond hair, shoes, and clothes, turn up a smile and not our nose. Jealousy ceases to what's beneath as we yield to our communal griefs. Loss of sisters and our brothers, loss of community, support for each other, the church, foundation, and our home, loss of sisterhood, at least the little we've known. All this we reclaim. When the women gather, we replace anxiety with praise, gossip with worship, yield to God, discover our purpose, become light to darkened hearts, give hope, mend that which is torn apart. We can do all this and more when we, the women, gather. We pay homage to Sojourner, Maya, Ida B. Wells, embrace Ava, Misty, Constance, and Michelle. Thank them for lifting sisters higher, inspiring us to dream, not to let gender minimize us. We carry their torch, press forward with power. Know we were created for this very hour, when we, the women, will gather.
Respectful. You tell me to be respectful. Keep my hand seen. Yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. Yes, sir, no, sir. Tells us to do these things. And the police will treat you with humanity. They tell you protect and serve the community with a white cop with shining teeth helping a cat out of the tree. You tell us to be respectful so more people join our scene. Where did that land Philando Castile when yes, sir, no, sir, got him killed? You tell us love conquers all. You say with the Pepsi, love brings it all. Well, Kendall, come through with that Pepsi because black people have died through today and tomorrow. When you look at me, you see weed smoke and criminality. When I look at me, I see insecurities and fear walking out the door with me. I hope you see the struggle I bleed because that struggle is bullet holes. That struggle is hoodie wearing. That struggle is black and queer. That struggle is Marsha P. Johnson. That struggle is Laverne Cox. Please note, respect hasn't earned me humanity. Respect hasn't earned me peace. Respect hasn't stopped white women from crossing the street when they see me. But you asked me to be respectful. Well, here's my thought for you. If you want my respect, then respect the black life. Please.
It's 2:30 in the morning. Dad has gone away, leaving us in charge of ourselves. The dog won't stop barking after him. He misses him so. Regardless of how strong we are, echoes of sadness follow us everywhere. It's been a long night grieving. We reminisce as we laugh, as we cry. This is an endless goodbye. Prayers, please, for us, for him. His absence has shattered our thoughts. There is such a deep silence. The dark barks to fill it. The good has gotten better. The bad is surely on its way out. Dad left us with invincible umbrellas and lots of reasons for dancing in the storms to come. We weren't born orphans, but it was always our destiny to go into life alone. It's 2:30 in the morning and the dog won't stop barking. That man was a giant to our narrow shoulders. Now we are the giants. But our shoulders still feel too small, too narrow for the sorrow we have to haul in his absence.
Next up is Earthquaker Devices, and they make guitar pedals, and they are literally some of the best guitar pedals in the entire world. Let's go see what Earthquaker Devices is all about.
We make a really good pedal. We have a full lifetime warranty, and I think that nobody really does that anymore. In a guitar standpoint, it's something that alters the sound of what your guitar is. Like, you plug a guitar straight into an amp, it can be a very dry sound. It can be a really pretty dry sound as well, but we can make it more distorted. It sounds like, Led Zeppelin to heavy metal, sort of like that's all distortion. And it doesn't come out of your guitar like that. So we have a lot of those, or we can repeat the signal. So anytime you have thing that's trailing off is we call delay. We make a bunch of those. That's probably what we do most of our sales in is delays. And then same thing if you want to sound like it's in an acoustic space, we have reverbs. And the same thing, you go through, you turn it on, and then it goes from a real dry and direct, straight from the guitar into your ear sound to a hall or a bedroom.
It is a goal of mine to make, well-designed products, things that look good, feel good, are easy to service, easy to assemble for our people here. But my primary goal has never been to make the best. It's just, here is how I think things should be made. And, to me, that is the best way. But I've opened some other products, be it pedals or TVs or anything and been like blown away by the engineering that goes involved in it. I'm very DIY. I'm self-taught. Like, I'm not an electronics engineer. I'm not a mechanical engineer. I'm a graphic designer, and like that gave me enough knowledge to kind of put a product together. So for my own tastes, everything is made to, you know, a standard that I think is the best for like usability and serviceability.
Earthquaker's growth trajectory, we started so small. You know, we were a basement operation, just Jamie, just me and Jamie, then a handful of other people. And, you know, our first wave of growth is when we moved out of the basement and we moved into our first shop down the street. And we immediately outgrew that, and we needed to hire more and more people. And it felt like every few months we were hiring more people. I think we were up to 30 plus people in this old shop that you barely had room to move. When we moved into this new shop, and that's still been 3 years, that's when things really exploded. So we've been able to have room to hire more people, continue to grow our capacity, and really it's just been steady increases year over year. We grow about 20% every year. And we're mostly constrained by how many pedals we can get out the door, not the demand on the other side. So those are all really good problems to have.
The music industry is in LA, it's in Nashville, it's in Austin, it's in New York, it's in all these places. We would be, you know, more connected if we were in those places, but we've looked at everything. We could never do it outside of Akron. I mean, Akron provides like all the resources, all the people that we have working here are irreplaceable. They're all like, you know, they all live here. They just have the right attitude. We grew up here, and there's like, you know, there's a vibe that we like to keep, and they all have it, and it's in this area. When we go outside of here, it's distinctly different. Like, it's an obvious difference in personality. We just like the, I don't know, just the attitude, the Ohio attitude from around here. It's a good place to just like get your work done, and you don't worry about being cool or like being like, you know, I don't know, accepted or whatever. And I think it's just a thing in the air around here. Like, it just has everything that we need.
My advice to people that are, you know, small business owners or startups, you know, first of all, you really need to acknowledge that you can't do everything yourself. And I know it's really hard to conceive of giving up even a little bit of control. But you really do need to do that. And you really need to bring good people in on your team who you can trust, that will really take ownership and help you and them grow. So I think that that's really critical and has been really helpful for us, that we've been able to find the right people. My other advice would be, you know, you always hear, don't hire your friends. I think that's completely untrue. You should hire your friends. You know, you have a long history with them. You know how to communicate with them. You understand their work ethic and their strengths and weaknesses. So I say, go ahead, hire your friends. Don't hire your irresponsible friends. Hire your like friends who do everything really well and you really enjoy being around.
Now, to wrap this show up, we're going to talk to Joe Heindel. He's a luthier that makes stringed instruments, and they are simply amazing. Let's go see what this guy's all about.
I used to pride myself like, oh, I can build an instrument that's, you know, a $5,000 instrument out of Harbor Freight tools, you know. And after I proved to myself that I could do that, I was like, why? You know, why would I want to do that? You know, why would I want to have to readjust the saw every single time I use it? You know, life, I mean, you only have so much time here. We only have so much energy that we can give. So I want to be putting my energy into the things, the relationships, the people that I believe in 100%, you know. And I guess that's the same way with tools, you know. What I'm trying to do with some of my instruments now is, as we're, you know, the information age, we're learning so much about, there's a cost to using all this koa that only grows on Hawaii. I've used a lot of koa. I don't want to use koa. I don't want to deplete Hawaii of all their, you know, beautiful trees and woods and make that, I mean, it's going to be an endangered tree, I believe, soon. So I'm trying to use, you know, I'm from Akron, I'm from this area, I'm trying to use woods and stuff that are from this area, you know. On the instrument that I built, I used Spurzle tuners, which are right here in Cleveland, and there's one kind of tuner that I really like from them. I used the SIT strings, which are from Akron. My fretboard is a material that I make. You can't use real tortoise, and I don't want to use real tortoise again because that's tortoises are endangered as well. So I make, but it's beautiful material. So I make my own out of epoxy, and then I use local. You know, the wood on that's from my wife's family farm, so it's probably you know, it's pretty old, but it's all pretty local stuff, you know. I'm not stuck to that, you know, completely. There's definitely stuff that I would use if I have to, but I try to stay more of use more local materials if I can. So I would go to work early in the morning. I'd go up 303 and I would stop at Doug's Dinner Bucket, and I'd eat breakfast there. And I mean, I was like, I was in a long-term relationship with a girl that had just ended, and I was just like, please, God, like I need something. I need, you know, like, what's going on. I would say like the only prayer I really knew, which was like the Our Father, you know. And then I would, so I went into Doug's Dinner Bucket, and there was my old professor there. So anyways, he said, I build banjos and mandolins, and I do painting and stuff. Come over to my shop sometimes. So I did, and I saw his stuff, and I thought, because I was a metal worker, you know, I thought, wow, wood can really be cool. Wood can really be amazing, you know. So from then I started, there was a tree in my backyard that I had cut down, and I said, what's the difference between this wood and the wood you get at the store? So I had it in my basement drying out for a while, and then I made my friend a slide guitar, and I had cast some of the tailpiece, and I had cast a bunch of different parts on it, the nut and some of the volume and tone knobs and everything out of aluminum, because I used my metal skills. And then I inlaid this thing, and I put a pickup on it and everything, and it really turned out cool. And everybody just went nuts over it, you know, more than any of my metal work. And I thought, then I just started making. I made an archtop guitar after that, and I made a violin. Well, actually, the second one was a violin or a fiddle for my girlfriend at the time, which it worked because she's my wife now. So, anyways. So then I just kind of just kept going from there. Started going to a lot of getting involved with different luthiers around the country and stuff, and just kept going. Just eventually quit my job and just took the risk and just built all kinds of, mostly guitars after that, you know, a lot of guitars. Every instrument maker copies Gibson and Martins for a long time, or always, you know, and then finally at some point you're like, I'm sick of making Gibson and Martins, you know. They're great guitars, you know, don't get me wrong. I'm gonna make something unusual. I'm gonna make something different. I'm gonna make something that's from me. I'm gonna make something that I think is beautiful, and something that's within me.
Thank you for watching yet another episode of Around Akron with Blue Green. Now, if you have an idea for a segment or you just want to say hey, you can reach out on the website at www.aroundakronwithbluegreen, or you can reach me on social media on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We'll see you next time on Around Akron with Blue Green.
Depending on your perspective, Hades took up residence south and west of Olympus by either a few feet or a few miles. Wind is howl, is half-spoken secret, is heaven, is tassel of pretty hair, is lack of escape plan, is sunflower charade, is steady decline, is guitar string tuned to the key of your last lover, is disregard for law, is 3 rivers plus 2, is silver, is solitude, is silver, is stone, is silver, is solitude, is silver.